Hey folks, it's Lindsey Hudson with SPS back in the building over at Sexton High School for the first day of football practice. And I couldn't be at a better place. This is where I started my sports psychology career. Shout out to Coach Bogan there. But now Coach Johnel Davis, my guy.
Yes,
What's up,
sir.
man?
How you doing?
All I got to do is send a note, tell my man I'm trying to touch down. He said, come on with it, man. Come home, man.
Definitely.
Here it is, first day of practice. Let's talk about what that feeling is like.
Oh, it's a great feeling. Just a good feeling to get back out in the fresh air, get back out on the field. Guys have been working really hard this summer. Getting a chance to start this first day of camp is always a blessing. You know, there's so many other things that could be going on in this world and these young men could be doing. But being out here, getting some work in, getting better, and doing the things we love to do,
Yeah.
it's a blessing.
I was talking to a couple of your seniors, man, and they seem locked in. Like this is almost playoff time already, man. The way they're communicating and the way they're talking about the team and shouting out the coaches. Talk about that when you got your leaders talking like that.
Our expectations are high. We set the standard real high. I've told the guys the standard is the standard. I'm out here to find out what breaks them. And I'm not saying break them, but, you know, put them in position to be broke and find out what do break them. You know, and the tougher they can be and not being broken is what's caused them to feel really good about themselves right now. They've been pushing themselves all winter very hard. They've been working hard. They've been leading. And then we got guys doing a great job of following as well. And so we're just excited about this opportunity that we have this year.
And Coach, you know, I mean, I know from being close to the program, and I appreciate that, you know, programs have their ebbs and flows, and there was a time that you were dealing with kind of like a deficit, you know, from not necessarily time, but maybe character. Some guys need some maturity issues. So talk about what it's like when you had those lows and you come back and have these highs with, you know, great character kids too.
Well, standard again. We set the standard with some guys when I first came in the program and didn't want to follow that standard. And we had to alleviate some guys off this team that we felt were cancers, which, you know, fed into the younger guys. You know, they saw that early and that caused them to understand what we expected out of them. So,
the coach ain't playing, he'll let you go.
Exactly. And so from there, they've raised the standard for all the guys in this program all the way down to the 7th grade. And we have a lot of young men that are just here to, you know, have some good discipline, have some pride in this program, and do all the things that we feel are necessary to be successful this year.
Yeah.
So,
you know, we talk about coming out of this COVID, whether we're still considered part of the pandemic right now, and the impact it's had on our lives, sports, but from a mental health standpoint, what have you kind of seen over the past few years to when we were in it, coming out of it, and kind of where we are right now, you know, particularly with the student athletes?
oh man, mental health is it's been big. It's been tough when a lot of these young kids dealing with the COVID scenarios, dealing with, you know, online schooling, dealing with a lot of changes at home with the parents and whatnot, and just a lot of activities have been taken away from them. So mental has been a real tough for most of our young people, you know, but for me, you know, I found it to gravitate towards dealing with the mental issues with a lot of these young men. And I've found in myself that if you can take away the I in the mental illness and replace it with the we, then you got wellness. And that's what we focus on here is just trying to dig through those tough times together. That's what family's for, you know, coming together. But most importantly, giving an open forum to where those young men that are going through things at home can be able to talk to me, talk to my assistant coaches. You know, we have some older gentlemen on the staff, which I call the wise counsel. And we're able to be there for these young men through these tough times. And hopefully we can lend down some advice to get them through those tough moments, but also most importantly use football to also help them get through those tough days. So.
Oh man, great. You know, it's amazing. I was just talking to one of your seniors and I posed a question to them as an athlete, how do you deal with the mental health issues? And he repeated, reaching out to my coaches. Now, I know who you are. I know how you get down. I know how you are very accessible, and I know the kind of guys you have around. But isn't that just easier said than done to tell a kid to go talk to a coach? Because sometimes those relationships just may not be there. I mean, it may happen here, but do you think it's possible it can happen just as easier anywhere else where a guy can just go talk to a coach or a young lady can go talk to a coach and everything will work out?
I would hope so. I mean, that's a very important key to being a good coach is building those relationships with the young men and making them feel comfortable enough to be able to call you late at night when they have a situation. I've always had an open door for my players because I feel that's important to keeping them out of trouble. You know what I mean? If they don't feel comfortable enough to call me when something's going wrong, then I feel like I'm not doing my job.
How do coaches turn the corner if they are looking at their staff and saying, I don't know if my young people are able to connect with this staff, or what can coaches work on to be more accessible to make the kids say, you know what, I'm comfortable going to talk to coach?
Well, that's just putting events together that
Okay.
give you guys a
Okay.
chance to bond.
Outside of just being out
Outside of
here.
here, we do bowling events.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
We've done what we call rent a athlete, where we went out in the community
Oh.
and
Okay.
done, rake leaves, pick weeds out of
Okay.
gardens,
Okay.
move furniture for different
Coach,
people.
that's real humbling. You
Yeah,
know, when
so
it's the big bad football players coming out and to
no.
put your guys through that.
Well, it's my way of showing them how we can get things done in different ways instead of trying to hustle money all the time. They need
Mm-hmm.
to understand the service to give back to the community,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we get together sometimes and get out into the
Mm-hmm.
community to help us bond a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We do barbecues together. I might even play video games with them,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's online or at my
You talk
house.
trash to them too, real good,
Big
don't you?
time trash. I don't think I've been beat by any one of them
Oh,
yet.
putting the word out there. Hey, hey, he
I
said
don't
Coach
lose. Yeah,
took no
no,
L's on that
no,
tip.
I don't lose.
But even with that, because we can always argue that video games are something that's definitely on the level of the young people that you can connect. My concern sometimes is that young people fear that, if I tell Coach that's going to impact my playing time, or he going to tell, or you know, just hoping that people can have the same relationship that you have with your players going forward.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I do my best to not judge.
Not judge.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was a kid at once.
Yeah.
I made some mistakes,
Uh-huh.
and so at the end of the day, I'm not a role model. And I say that in this regard. I've made some of the mistakes they made when they were younger, so I'm a real model.
Ooh, you
You know
hear
what
him
I'm
out here
saying?
dropping
So
it? Hey,
I
Coach,
I, I
I think something on
understand
that
I
one.
understand when they call me and they tell me they got some challenges or they got some things going on at home. I grew up. I come from humble beginnings, and with that being said, um, I appreciate when a young man's able to open up and give me that option to be able to be there for him through
Yeah.
that tough time.
Yeah.
Because when I was going through growing up and I having my father around, the coaches were there for me when
Mm-hmm.
I needed to talk or when my mental energy was off a little bit. And then I just used football as a way to alleviate some of the pain and some of the things
Yeah.
that I was going through. So I would expect my young men to do the same thing. Be able to come here and explain to us what they're dealing with, what they're going through, but most importantly, fight through those tough times and use football to help them through those tough times.
Coach, I love it. But it also talks about you being vulnerable to a degree, you know.
Amen.
And how difficult can that be when a coach is held in such high regard? You got the buffers around you, but still making a choice to be vulnerable, what's that about?
I think vulnerability is important. We've been raised up on this stigma of no crying, being tough, not showing our vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're able to see me be vulnerable and have more of an understanding of what they're going through, most importantly, have empathy for their feelings and
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
emotions,
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes them become closer to me.
Yeah.
And I'm very appreciative that I do have that inside, that empathy, but most importantly, that ability to feel them and then try to customize my approach to
Yeah.
their living style and what they're dealing
Yeah.
with at home.
Last question on that. Was it always like that? Was that something you had to evolve to and grow into?
You know what? I think one of the things that really changed me as a young man, coming out of college, I played in 1995 Snow Bowl. When we were when we were out in North Dakota, we went to Shriners Crippled Children's Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I met a young man, didn't have any legs,
No legs, Coach?
no arms. I think he had one short arm with just a hand on it. Um, but he could articulate himself very well, and we had to spend time with him for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and he could shoot just a ball with the one hand, and he did not miss. And I think he inspired a little bit of change in me as a younger man, just seeing him not be able to do all the things normal people can do in life. So I started to respect, people that were dealing with people that didn't, dealing with some type of handicap.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
started to just really appreciate life and the game a
Wow.
lot more. And then throw on top of that, losing my mother at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
and going through some death situations really opened up my eyes to just appreciating life more,
Wow.
appreciating my everyday and taking it like it's my last day. And I kind of applied that to my family and my children. And it's just been a blessing. Like, we're all very close, and just
Yeah.
I have a great family, and I'm just really happy for that.
Man, hey, I'm not surprised that you can share this wisdom that can be helpful to not only the players, the community, but even for myself. With the time we have, anybody you want to shout out before we let you get out of here?
Hey, definitely I want to shout out to my wife. Want to shout out to my children. Want to shout out to my Big Red family. Want to shout out to the Sexton staff and principals and all the people that work hard for this whole entire program. And then give you a shout out for letting me get this interview, man.
Hey,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Hey, y'all let me on the field. So I think we do the interview. Oh, last thing. August 26th. You got to
Yes,
go
sir.
over there. Hey, I got to
Yes, sir.
just put that out there. You got to go across the way.
You know, I don't talked a lot of smack the last couple of years. You know what? This year we're going to talk smack on the field. I'm gonna let them pads do the talking. I'm going to let my young men do the talking. Y'all got nothing to say, man. I'm just fired up for this game. And just blessed that we got another opportunity to get back at them.
I love it, man.
Yes,
That's a great
yes,
thing. Hey,
yes.
my guy, Coach Johnel Davis. You can't find a better one. Sexton family here. With that being said, first day of practice and first day of great things. Lindsay Ellis with SPS. See you guys next time.
God bless.